Batwoman number 13. Margaret Bennett, of course, writing, Fernando Blanco on the art. Uh,
Which is interesting because it means he's become the series regular. Because he
he
did
has,
the
yeah.
last arc and then obviously the in between. But
Yeah, there was a fill-in artist and then he's back for this. Um, and this was, I think the art as well, because obviously I think the art in this book has suffered because it started off with Epting, and Epting was so phenomenal that everything afterwards felt kind of,
it's such a high bar to live up to,
yeah,
isn't it? And Blanco has been
solid.
admirable.
Yeah, like I think there's a couple of moments in this. I was like, oh, I really like that panel. It's when Batwoman lands next to her old house, and it's that full sort of page, and she's like, she's quite small in the frame, and it's the whole building in front of her. Ah,
Yeah,
that's a really nice page, a really nice panel. I really like that. So this kind of is all building up to the big twist. And to be fair, back at the start of the run, we were saying, "Oh, I bet Sophia is the head of this whole thing. Many Arms of Death. It's going to be her." And to be fair, they subverted those expectations. Um, the question is though, is that subversion a satisfying reveal? The reveal here at the end that Beth, her sister, is secretly behind this, and that she was the one who's been doing all this stuff and manipulating her. And Sophia, well, she's been up to kind of some no good stuff, and she's the one who lures Batwoman here. Is like, hey, like I just did this to test like where you'd go. Like the person doing this is doing all this to mess with both of us, and she wants to mess with me to get to you as well. Like,
yeah.
and we find out the leader of this, the one who's actually, Knife is working for her, the evil twins are working for her. We find out at the end this is all Beth, or as they call her, her evil persona Alice at the end. So, on the one hand, I like it because it is kind of like, okay, so this is very much her Joker. It always comes back to her. But on the other hand, it's always coming back to her. Like, could it have been something different we were building to? I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's kind of disappointing. It's like, all right, I get it, but I like, it felt like Sophia was a new addition.
Yeah.
Like, oh, let's build up something new
Joe,
for
Joe,
Kate.
Joe, I think the problem is, I think it works really well on its own, but I don't feel that the run as a whole is built up to this.
Agreed.
If that makes sense. Like, I think the actual reveal on its own makes a lot of sense. I like the whole when she calls the hospital and she's like, "Oh, is my sister there?" And they're like, "Oh, she's on a day trip. She can't talk to you." Yeah, you're lying, and you're lying for the men arms of death who've already taken her. I like the sort of the tease of that. Like, I thought that was a really good little scene that page. But yeah, I'm kind of 50-50 on the reveal itself. I think it works really well on its own in a vacuum. I don't think the run necessarily has built me up to this reveal.
Agreed. It's like, okay, it's fine,
Because
but
the way it's playing it is that Beth is, oh, this is like a big part of your life that I'm going to mess with. But the whole run's felt so focused on the island and that year she spent there in Sophia that it feels like Beth almost feels tacked on now.
it kind of feels like a swerve for the sake of a swerve.
Yeah. But I mean, it could. Yeah, obviously, I think the resolution could be good. I think obviously, I think the issue itself is fine. It just didn't feel like the run itself is actually built up to this.
Yeah, pretty much. There's some, really great moments, but and it's a solid issue.
Because
But just
I really like the whole extended chunk of her getting into the house because it felt kind of like, oh, she's getting into this like almost abandoned horror house, and it's like her narration as she's looking through the house and seeing various like disturbing things. I really liked all that part. It felt really proper. It had a good tone to it. It was kind of creepy.
No, I agree. That was a great atmosphere. I love the panel of Knife when it first cuts to her,
Mm.
and she's sitting there with all the swords and the blades and all the stuff on the wall and arranged in the pattern. It looks fantastic as an image.
Yeah, I was really disappointed at first in that when it cut to her because the way it cut from Sophia saying, "Oh, don't you know who's really behind all this?" and it cut to Knife, I was like, "Is Knife is the leader? Really?" Like for a second, I thought that was like what they were doing with the cut.
A
But
little
no,
bit misleading, yeah.
yeah,
I get you.
yeah. But obviously it builds up to the real reveal where she goes in and says, "Ah, there's you, Alice," and she's like, "Yeah, me, I'm evil."
Yeah, yeah. Same old, same old.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it would. Obviously, I think it makes sense to eventually go back to Alice and like have her be around as the proper big bad. But it does kind of feel a shame that we didn't get like a full out big bad first. That was a new big bad that we then came back round to the full
It
circle
really felt
thing.
like we were having an addition with Knife and Sophia, like the twins. It's like, okay, we're adding a new set of this of characters for Kate, and obviously those characters are around, but they're undermined a bit when they're just working for someone else.
Yeah. So she still only really has the one big bad villain.
Yeah.